recently got my hands on the most talked about driver of 2024, the Costco Kirkland signature driver. The comment section went wild for this driver and you guys loved it, but a lot of people have said, James, this driver reminds me of something else. This driver looks very much like another driver. This driver looks a little bit like, well, a cheap knockoff of, hope that's not broken, the Titleist TSR 2 and 3 family of driver. So in today's video we're going to put these to the test and see just how similar they maybe are, because I must admit from this angle they do look rather similar, don't they? Shelf appeal wise, both have the branding on the toe, both have this kind of line through the middle, both obviously have adjustable hosels. The TSR 3 here does have an adjustable weight on the back, whereas the Kirkland signature driver just has a plain weight at the back to drag MOI backwards and help make it a little bit more forgiving. And it's really interesting because if I throw an image of the TSR 2 on screen now, I think it looks even more similar. Now I think this Kirkland driver is a little bit of a breath of fresh air. I really enjoyed using the Kirkland golf balls, I really enjoyed using the Kirkland gloves, and I really enjoyed the wedges and putter. The irons are coming very, very soon. Huge thanks to Gabe from Let's Play Through. He sent me these through to test. Gabe, you are a legend, and I certainly owe you a beer in Orlando next week. But for now, let's see just how similar this Kirkland signature driver is to the Titleist. Price-wise, the Kirkland weighs in at $199. The Titleist is around $500. The Titleist is more than that. Now, looking down at this Kirkland, I must say, this is the first time where I think this certainly does not scream Titleist. This doesn't look like a Titleist. It doesn't look like any kind of Titleist that has ever been. It looks to me more like maybe a Mizuno, maybe some kind of Callaway Maverick or Rogue with that Traxel carbon crown on top. I love that Kirkland have tried to actually jam-pack technology in here. They don't talk much about technology, but they do talk about the multi-material design with the carbon crown and that back weighting, and of course the adjustable sleeve. All these drivers come in 10.5 degrees and you can change them down or up a degree. That's as simple as it gets, and I think for the price that is quite revolutionary. That's quite good. We also feature a titanium face, which the Titleist features a titanium face, albeit potentially of a higher grade titanium, but is that going to be all the difference when it comes to ball speed, which we will talk about in this video as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and say it, I'm not sure if I prefer the look of the Kirkland down at the ball. I do like myself a little bit of carbon. Straight away, a big high ball flight. That is the perfect line, fading back nicely into the fairway. You can probably tell by the rain that's driving across now. What is this? But that is the way that the wind's blowing, and that strike was a tiny bit high and heely. The one thing I found when I did review this Kirkland driver is to get the distance and the spin rate, you're going to want to hit it a little bit more out of the toe. You're going to want to get one that's turning over a little bit. So let's give it a go. Big fan of the components in this driver as well. I think the shaft is an even flow Riptide 6.0 stiff, 60 gram. It's not a bad shaft. At $199 it's a very good shaft. It's not the best shaft. The grip is a lovely Lambkin 360 crossline, because obviously you can change the loft, so they have thought about putting that 360 grip on there, which is quite good. Right, let's get that nice low spinner. The Titleist is going to do well to get past that. I'm going to show you exactly where I struck that, because this for me is the sweet spot of this Kirkland driver. Right in the toe there, you can see how that brought the ball flight down. That's spinning at around 2,000, 2,100, and the ball speed there may have shot up almost to around 158, 159. I think. So I think that's pretty much as good as I've got with the Kirkland. The key now is to see, look where that came out, by the way. The key now is to see, first of all, how does it compare to the Titleist, which is weighing, you can probably buy almost 3 of these with that. And while you're there, you could go and get some popcorn, some ketchup, some loo roll, and everything else that you might want. We'll slide you back in there for now, and we'll have a look at the Titleist. Now the Titleist, I think, has gone rather under the radar, especially at the moment with the release of the new Callaway, the new TaylorMade, the new Ping, the new Cobra. These always have a different kind of cycle. These generally get released to start getting seeded towards the end of a season. So I'll be interested to see how Titleist do moving forward into, I'm not going to say 2025, because literally we're only just in 24, but this straight away looks a lot more traditional to look down at. It looks nothing like the Kirkland as we've already kind of touched on. So depending what you like your driver to look like, this may well suit your eye. You can also see all the face etchings on there, which are designed just to show the amount of forgiveness this titanium face does have. Now, do I need to get that toey one here? or can I just hit that? That felt like a very similar shot to the first one. You can see I lost my balance a little bit there, but it was a little bit cutty. It was actually a slight toe shot as well, but I don't think that's got past the second Kirkland shot that we hit. And that's really interesting, because if you're going to spend the big money on, say, the Titleist driver, but you can get past it with the Kirkland with a certain shot, do you see where I'm getting? And the amount of people that have said, oh, it's clearly a Titleist copy, they've copied, have they just gone for a look that kind of looks a bit forgiving and is a little bit kind of generic to a forgiving golf club? I think maybe they have. Some people said it looks like a Titleist, other people said it looks like a PXG. I think it depends on your eye and maybe who you're a fan of in the golf industry. Now let's take this corner on a bit more. I need to get past that Kirkland with this, don't I? Otherwise it could really have the cat amongst the pigeons. This is going to be mega interesting, because that wasn't a toey turny over one. That was literally out the screws with a gorgeous fade over this corner on the par 4. Feel wise, there is no comparison. Feel wise, they're both a titanium face, so you can sort of try to clutch at a comparison if you want, but realistically the Titleist feels miles better. Is that going to bother the type of people that are going to be buying this Kirkland signature driver to use? Personally, I don't think so. I've got a huge comparison video coming with a second-hand driver around the same price, and I think that's the market that Kirkland are going for. They're going for the market where people want a brand new driver, but also want a little bit of tech and a story to tell as well. Let's get down there. Look at those strikes there. Let's get down there and see where they've finished, but also, are the head covers a bit similar? I think that could be one of the points where you're like, right, are you just taking the mick a little bit now? I mean, the Kirkland, when it's wet as well, that's not easy to get on. I mean, you're not going to lose it, but I mean, look at the ease of that off. This one. I mean, I don't know why I've done that, because I've got to put them back on again now, but you can sort of see where that's in-depth review. You want all the information, so you're getting it. Now, I'm, for one, I'm really interested to see where these are and just what the difference is in both shots, because there were two very similar shots with each. One was a little bit faded, probably a bit shorter, and the second shot with both was much improved and should be quite long actually, even though we're in winter. Some of the comments that I saw on the Kirkland driver review itself were a little bit interesting, like this one. I would never have that head cover in my bag. I mean, I don't think it looks that bad. Kirkland, ketchup, brown sauce, I don't know. There's always going to be opinions in life. There's always going to be people who don't like certain brands or certain products. But I massively commend what Costco are trying to do here, because if it gets more people into golf, it makes it more affordable, it makes it more attainable. Why not? Now this is really interesting, because the first Kirkland driver is there. That's really, really short actually. That's one of the shortest drivers I've hit on this hole in a very, very long time. Yes, it's into the wind a little bit and cold, but that is short. The second Kirkland driver is up there, just past that bunker. It was a lovely, gorgeous line. It may not have run very far, but it's finished there, so that's good. That's up there. The two Titleists are there. Now, there were two very interesting ball flights, and the reason why I've shown you from this distance is so you can sort of see my surprise in that, because is side-to-side dispersion something that technology can help? Potentially. This driver from Titleist is in my specs, so it's pretty perfect. Although the Kirkland driver I've tweaked to be in my specs with the adjustability that it claims it comes with. Like, that front to back is a huge difference, and that's maybe what you're paying the money for. But I think the Kirkland there is the longer one of all of them. Maybe it's just on the angle. I mean, it's going to depend totally on the bounce, and there's different cambers and things like that. But in real life testing, that's the longer one. I'm telling you, that's the longer one. So I think this video has just got very, very interesting. I thought it was interesting from the start, but now it's very, very interesting. I think it's fair to say as well, the Kirkland signature driver is a bit of an underdog. Oh, that came off a bit easier, that. Maybe we're kind of loosening it up. But also, I want to know what your thoughts are. For the price difference, what would you expect to see more from the Titleist? How much more distance on average would you expect to see? How much more distance out here on the golf course, where you can't really quantify it, but you can visualize it, would you expect to see? Because I personally believe that these budget drivers are great for the game of golf. They keep the big boys on the toes, especially with the technology and the price structure. That's the shot. It's gone a little bit left, but that's the shot that you need to hit with this club. It's gone a little bit left, it's gone That's in the pond. Me and Gabe have had a really interesting thought with this club because the connector isn't a connector that we have seen before, so it's not going to be that easy. But we thought about trying to get a mega expensive shaft and put it in this Kirkland head, just see how much it can perform, maybe with a bit of a shaft upgrade, because really, how much technology can you have in a driver head nowadays? It's got a carbon crown, it's got a back weight, it's got a titanium face. If you put a decent engine in there, will that make a big difference? Do you think it'll make a difference? Let's see if we can actually keep this ball in play. That was a Kirkland as well. At least it wasn't an expensive Pro V1 though. Because if it's cheap and you can't keep it in play very often, it kind of lets you down a little bit. Is it worth having it all? Right, that's ridiculous. That's the first shot I've hit with this driver ever where I've thought, wow. And that strike location, I keep bringing it back to strike location because I feel like this face isn't as forgiving across the face depending where you hit it as big name drivers, but that's like position A. And that ball flight we've just had there is ridiculous. It didn't move in the air, it was lovely and high, it felt solid, it actually felt like a nice shot, it felt like a good strike. And for me, that now is going to take some beating. We've got 2 goes. In fact, should we say we've got 1 go with the Titleist? Because the Titleist costs that much more. Shall we say that it's now or never? This is going to be really, really close. That was a little bit high toe. None of those balls are going to be rolling too much. Both are in the fairway actually. I mean, this is where the forgiveness element for me with the Titleist probably does come in. That's probably got no right to hold the line that it's had. The face should kind of gear open and potentially that should be a really weak flight. The Kirkland felt amazing. Can a weak flighted Titleist get past a nailed Kirkland? I'd love to tell you here and now, but I can't see either of them. So I think the Titleist is there. Kirkland might be. Oh no, is that it there? I'm not going to jump to any conclusions just yet. Guys, we're going to jump in the studio after this. We're going to look at numbers. We're going to look at all the numbers and kind of averages and see just what you are getting for your money. And then we're going to go, and then we're going to go 1 hit each head to head down the final hole. Because obviously in golf, you only get 1 opportunity. There's no point me putting the first shot in the lake. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking that, and then nailing the second one because I'm 3 off the tee effectively there. And the Titleist is of course 1 off the tee. If that's the big difference, you know, I've come this way past this pond. I've never known that could have been a broken leg. That could have been quite nasty. But stay tuned and let's see if this Costco is just a cheap imitation of a Titleist. Right, this has shocked me a little bit because the Kirkland felt amazing. The Kirkland felt like a great shot. The Titleist felt like I'd gotten away with it. There's a big lake on the left-hand side, which we know is there. So yeah, it's not a tee shot I'm overly comfortable with. And the Titleist is here, just kind of level with the 150s. Now, the Kirkland is there. And that's not even like a little difference, is it? That's a huge difference with these shots. Bear in mind there's going to be no run at all because it's very, very wet underfoot. Are you better off buying a Kirkland and having a few lessons to learn how to hit it? Maybe that's a thing, I don't know. If you can save $300 or £300, we don't know how much the Kirkland will be in the UK yet, so please don't go in the comments and tell me that I've gone all American. It's an American product at the moment. But for £300 saving, imagine the lessons you could have, then imagine the green fees you could potentially go and play and the fun you could have for a driver that looks similar, but is next to the ketchup in the aisle, which might put a few people off. So let's jump inside and let's talk about numbers for both these drivers. I already know that the TSR3 is a fantastic performing driver, a very, very enjoyable driver to hit, and to be honest, one of the best that you're going to buy. Consistency wise, it ticks all those boxes. Let's have a look at how the Kirkland performs consistency wise, because I think we've shown here, if you can get it, you can get it. But overall, let's take a look. So I kicked off the indoor testing with the Titleist TSR3, and this didn't give me any shocks at all. It wasn't very surprising that this is a fast driver, kind of no matter where you hit it on the face in relation to what kind of ball speed you would anticipate. I got some really nice low spin shots as well, as you can see with this one in particular. There would be the longer ones. Then as soon as we got the Kirkland out here, I tried to hit the ball at a similar pace, tried to hit it nice and hard, because obviously when you're testing a driver, you want to see how hard you can hit it, where you can hit it on the face, and exactly what shots you can get. And I must admit, it shocked me how when I did get it out of kind of that toey low spin strike, I got a really, really long drive out of it. but then overall it really struggled consistently to match the ball speed and of course the spin rate. As you can see, the Kirkland spinning a lot higher with a little bit lower ball speed, but all in all, 9 yards, I think for 9 yards for £300, $300 difference, I think this really is a driver that should be taken maybe a little bit more seriously than just something you'll find next to the loo roll. Okay, very interesting numbers there, and kind of as I would have anticipated, kind of because I've already done the testing and I'm out here now, but it just can't keep up when you do start spraying it around the face. For me, the sweet spot is more towards the toe, as I keep mentioning. Now let's go one shot with each. We're going to go Titleist first and really try and set the stall out here. We're forward on the tee because it's winter, so we can go pretty far left actually and get nicely down there. And can we catch up with it with the Kirkland? That's a very similar strike to the last one, a little bit out the toe, lovely fade down the middle of this fairway. That's going to be pretty much a perfect drive on this hole. Amazing how consistently we're hitting that just out of the toe. Now it's time for the Kirkland. Must have gone cold again. Can we get past it? We're going to try and hit a similar shot just down the left side, maybe with a bit of fade. I think that's going to be past it again. I think I've hit a better shot there. It came out lower, it came out what felt like nice and fast. Touched low on the face. We're going to talk strike again, but look at that. You know, the more I hit this and the more I kind of get the feel of the shaft and maybe how I need to release it to get the most out of it, the more I like it. I really do hope that Costco maybe put some nets up in stores and let people try these, maybe with a Golf Zone simulator in there, maybe with a Golf Zone Wave or something like that, and just let people maybe bring their own driver in and test them. I know they're not a golf shop, they probably won't do that, but I was playing basketball in there the other day because I was just practicing my free throws for Orlando next week. So let's get down there and let's see which drive has gone the furthest. I can't wait to see this. I think this is going to be mega interesting. Like, I didn't expect it to be this close. I wasn't this impressed with the Kirkland driver in my initial review. So on that part, I'm really pleased that I brought it out again and tested it against something which people think could be a similar product. This is 10s, and I know at this time of year you can get different kicks and bounces and everything else, but I can see both balls. And all I'm going to say is for $199, the Kirkland is in position A into this green, and the Titleist is just behind it. Yes, we're talking fractions, probably talking on carry a couple of yards, very, very similar numbers, but for $199, you can go and get this driver when you pick up your bacon, your toilet roll, I keep thinking of different things that Kirkland do, but guys, there we go. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a really interesting video, that, and I'm really glad that I've done it because I now have a different logic on this driver. I don't think it's very forgiving. I don't think it's going to give you the most performance consistently, but when you get it, it does work. Guys, thanks for watching. Smash that subscribe button. Lots more to come. I'm going to compare this against a kind of £200 second-hand driver next week, so if you want to see that, don't go anywhere. And apart from that, I'll see you all at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.